Alright, where we last left off on Batman the Long Halloween, Gotham is being terrorized by a new serial killer who only kills on holidays, with the exception of April Fools. Batman suspects Harvey Dent, Harvey suspects Bruce Wayne, and Carmine Falcone, Gotham's #1 crime boss, also known as the Roman, is running out of patience as the killer continues to strike primarily at members of his organization. Batman goes to Arkham Asylum on Mother's Day in another attempt to consult the Calendar Man, only to be interrupted by the realization that the Scarecrow is broken out of his cell. And in the ensuing fight, Batman is hit with fear gas that prompts him, in his alter ego as Bruce Wayne, to run from the cops when they approach him, which makes him look incredibly guilty. Sophia Falcone, the Roman's daughter, goes fishing for information and finds out who makes the custom pistols that Holiday uses to carry out their killings. But when she gets there, she finds that they've already been murdered, Holiday's next victim. Father's Day rolls around with Bruce behind bars, and Sal Maroni, Falcone's main rival, goes to his own father for advice. But Holiday strikes again, and Luigi Maroni is killed. Bruce is ultimately acquitted, but left grappling with a childhood memory of his father saving Carmine Falcone's life when the crime boss showed up wounded on their doorstep years ago, contemplating the damage that saving Falcone's life has done. At the same time that an increasingly desperate Falcone hatches a scheme with Scarecrow and the Mad Hatter, and Maroni approaches Dent with a way to get to Falcone. Holiday claims her first civilian victim, the city coroner, on Independence Day, but Batman is pulled away from the investigation by Scarecrow and the Mad Hatter robbing Gotham Bank. He takes him down with an assist from Catwoman, who tries to put the moves on Batman only to be rebuffed, with his offer to help bring down the Roman likewise rejected. Maroni turns himself in with the intent of pinning a number of his crimes on Falcone, but on the stand he throws acid in Harvey's face, smuggled in by Dent's traitorous assistant Vernon, and although Dent is quickly rushed to the hospital, he goes mad and escapes, beginning his descent into villainy as Two-Face. Meanwhile, Carla Vitti, Carmine Falcone's sister, is killed while the rest of the family are celebrating Carmine's birthday. A Roman holiday, if you will. In the wake of Harvey's escape, damning evidence is found that affirms Batman's suspicions. It appears Harvey Dent has been Holiday all along, using his connections as district attorney to cripple Falcone's organization from outside the law, and the realization that Batman had known, or at least suspected for months, puts a strain on his working relationship with Jim Gordon. Batman confronts the Roman, Catwoman, and Dent's wife Gilda one after the other, but is unable to find the answers he's looking for on any front, prompting him to return to the Calendar Man again. Determined not to be forgotten, Calendar Man predicts that Holiday's next victim will be Sal Maroni, a prediction that comes true when, in the process of moving him to a more secure location on Labor Day, Maroni is gunned down. Not by Dent, but the apparent true Holiday killer. Alberto Falcone, Carmine's son who faked his own death on New Year's Eve as one of Holiday's victims, claims credit for all of the killings, having been kept out of his father's business and deciding as a result to become something bigger. The killing hasn't stopped yet, though, as Two-Face breaks into Arkham, frees a number of costume criminals, but not, sadly, the Calendar Man, and breaks into Carmine Falcone's house. Batman arrives and a massive fight breaks out, but ultimately Carmine is shot dead by Two-Face, and Sophia, in trying to avenge her father, gets in a fight with Catwoman and falls out of a window. She would survive and later go on to become a serial killer herself, known as the Hangman. Dent commits one more murder, killing Vernon for his betrayal, and then turns himself in to Batman and Gordon. But not before stating that there were actually two Holiday killers. His former allies are perturbed by the statement, but Batman quickly comes to the conclusion that, having killed Carmine Falcone on Halloween, Harvey meant that he had also become the Holiday killer. The ending casts doubt on his theory, though, as Gilda Dent, alone at home, burns a number of Holiday's effects. The first 3 killings, according to her, were her own work, and Harvey had simply picked up where she left off, with Alberto Falcone being nothing more than a red herring taking the credit and ultimately fall for Holiday's spree. This doesn't quite pan out, as it doesn't explain the death of the city coroner, presumably killed to maintain the lie that Alberto had been murdered on New Year's, since that would require Harvey to know that he hadn't actually shot Alberto to death, and Gilda herself mentions that she and Harvey never talked about this with each other, so maybe there were actually 3 killers. But hey, it's Gotham. Weirder things have happened, and the ambiguity honestly works really well for this story. Anyways, with regards to the Penguin show, several elements of the Long Halloween have already played out in the Batman, but I definitely expect the Falcone and Maroni family dynamics to come into play, especially since Sophia already has her Hangman moniker per the trailer. Guess we'll have to see if that comes with the accompanying window tumble. Next week, it's back to Marvel. I'm covering Agatha Harkness.